that right now there's talks of Chimaev and Pereira potentially fighting at 205. And Alex came out and said, hey, I am scheduled to fight. There is a fight that they're putting in front of me. I'm very happy. But guess what? It's not Ankalaev. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, I can't think of somebody that would bring the excitement.
There's a rumor circulating that Alex Pereira versus Khamzat Chimaev might be in the works. Khamzat recently earned himself a middleweight title shot, but the Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland rematch got booked first. Now, a post on X, formerly Twitter, has sparked discussion, suggesting that Pereira is in talks to defend his light heavyweight title against Chimaev. This rumor gained traction after Pereira hinted earlier this week that his next fight won't be against Magomed Ankalaev. He tweeted, "It won't be Ankalaev." Ex-user MyMix Tapes added fuel to the fire by tweeting, "Rumors are circulating that Alex Pereira is getting booked next for the light heavyweight UFC title. What do you guys think? Is this fight just a rumor, or is it actually in the works?"
What's scarier, 30 seconds of striking with Alex Pereira in the Amazon rainforest, or 30 seconds of grappling with Khamzat Chimaev no tapping in the cold Chechen mountains? I'm having a hard time deciding, so I'm counting on you.
John McCarthy recently weighed in on the potential matchup between Alex Pereira and Khamzat Chimaev, calling it a massive fight that would capture fans' attention. McCarthy emphasized the draw of the fight, stating,
For that same fight.
That's a big fight.
Is.
Let's be honest. And you look at it and you go, you know, it's one that people would absolutely get wrapped around.
He continued, discussing the current middleweight contender, Jan Błachowicz, and his performance as a top-ranked fighter.
You know, and this is why they can look at the Ankalaev fight and say, yes, Ankalaev has earned his spot in the rankings. But if you take a look at his performances, for the most part, they've been boring. Most of his fights have not been exciting. They've been drawn out. He has, you know, slowly and systematically taken over in the fight, won the fights, but none of them have been, wow, that was a great performance. Wow.
McCarthy then contrasted that with Khamzat Chimaev's style, which has been nothing but thrilling for the fans.
Where Chimaev has had nothing but, for the most part, exciting fights. Great performances in a lot of them.
McCarthy's analysis underscores the growing excitement surrounding Khamzat Chimaev, who has rapidly become one of the most dynamic and fan-favorite fighters in the UFC. His aggressive, high-pressure style contrasts sharply with fighters like Ankalaev, whose calculated, slower approach often leaves fans waiting for a standout moment. This dynamic is what makes the potential Pereira versus Chimaev fight so intriguing. While Pereira is known for his knockout power and striking, Chimaev's relentless pace and wrestling could create a clash of styles that fans are eager to see unfold. Chimaev's hype train continues to build, and with his exciting performances, he has become the kind of fighter people tune in to watch, win or lose. For Pereira, defending his light heavyweight title against a rising star like Chimaev would be a monumental test and a fight that could propel him further into the UFC spotlight. With both fighters on different trajectories, Pereira, a seasoned champion with explosive knockout ability, and Chimaev, the relentless up-and-comer, this is a matchup that has the potential to deliver on both excitement and intrigue. In a bold statement that has fans buzzing, Khamzat Chimaev revealed he's considering a potential move to the light heavyweight division to challenge none other than Alex Pereira. The undefeated fighter, known for his ferocious aggression and dominance in the welterweight and middleweight divisions, seems eager to take on the challenge of facing the former middleweight champion, Pereira, at 205 pounds.
Just one over here, Hamza. Yeah. Congrats on the win. It seems like you're next up for the title. What do you envision your title run looking like? Do you want to clear out the middleweight division, or would you prefer to sort of go up to light heavyweight and challenge Alex Pereira?
Bro, I'm talking about 3 belts from a long time ago, so of course I want to go up. But what Dana White, what the UFC wants, I don't know, man. So if they gives me, first I has in my weight class, need to take the belt, so then I gonna think about it as well.
Chimaev's move to light heavyweight would undoubtedly raise eyebrows. Not only is Pereira coming off a stunning knockout victory in his UFC career, but his size and power in the division make him a dangerous opponent for anyone. However, Chimaev isn't known for backing down from a challenge, no matter the weight class. Chimaev's recent comments about moving up to light heavyweight have set the stage for a potential showdown that could redefine his legacy in the UFC. If this fight materializes, it would be one of the most high-stakes and intriguing matchups in recent memory, pitting the explosive striking of Pereira against the relentless grappling and pressure of Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev has never been one to shy away from bold statements, and his recent comment on Alex Pereira is no exception. When asked about the potential matchup with Pereira, Chimaev didn't hold back, saying,
"You know, it's crazy that you mention Alex then, because somebody was talking to me and said, who do you think that is out there that could beat Alex?" And I said, you know what, call me crazy. I said, but Khamzat at 205. Yeah. I think you have the style. Is that something you think about? Like maybe one day?
Of course, I've been always open for that. So I know stylistically this match for me much easier than other guys, you know. So yeah. But in striking, I'm honest. I know the guy can knock me out, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone. I know the guy is good striker, one of the best guy who has hardest punches. But I'm one of the best grappler, best wrestler.
Yeah.
He's not that.
Sure.
So.
It'd be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, of course.
Chimaev's confidence is well known, and he's made it clear that he doesn't fear any opponent, no matter their reputation. In his mind, facing a striker like Pereira might be less of a challenge than dealing with fighters who excel in other areas, such as grappling or well-rounded skills. Chimaev's relentless pressure and wrestling-heavy approach could be exactly what he believes will neutralize Pereira's striking prowess.
He's must easily fight for me in the UFC.
You think you versus Alex is the easiest fight for you in the UFC?
Yeah, in my career, brother.
How long does it last, in your opinion?
First round, first minute.
Easy.
Easy.
Do you think he beats?
No punch, nothing.
This comment has stirred plenty of reactions, as many see Pereira's knockout power as a major threat to anyone in the division. However, Chimaev's belief that his style could easily dominate Pereira shows just how much he backs his skills. If the fight ever happens, it's clear that Chimaev is coming in with the mindset that he can handle anything Pereira throws at him, and that could make for one of the most explosive matchups in recent UFC history. Alex Pereira had nothing but praise for most of his potential opponents, offering succinct compliments to each. However, when the conversation turned to his rumored upcoming contender, Khamzat Chimaev, Pereira didn't mince words. While he described other fighters in one-word compliments, his response to Chimaev was far less flattering. Pereira boldly defined Chimaev as a dog's asshole.
Whittaker.
Guerreiro.
John Jones.
Guerreiro.
Jamal Hill.
Bom.
Yuri Prohaska.
Muito bom.
Israel Adesanya.
Guerreiro.
Khamzat Chimaev.
The remark surprised many, especially considering Pereira's typically respectful demeanor toward other competitors. This sharp comment about Chimaev adds more fuel to the already heated anticipation surrounding a potential fight between the two. With both fighters known for their intense personalities and fierce fighting styles, a matchup between them could get extremely personal, both inside and outside the octagon. Khamzat Chimaev's recent comments about Alex Pereira, claiming that a fight with him would be easier than other guys, didn't go unnoticed by the former middleweight champion. Pereira responded with his own take, calling out Chimaev for not following through on his previous claims about wanting to fight for the belt. Pereira explained his stance. When I beat Adesanya, I won the belt, and then he did the same thing. He does that with everyone. He wanted to fight for my belt, so I got in touch with the organization. I said, well, we could have a fight in the light heavyweight division since he wants it. Either fight me, or he just wants an opportunity for the belt. Pereira continued, expressing frustration with Chimaev's actions. Then it's easy. He didn't want to fight now because I have the belt in the light heavyweight division. He talks about wanting to fight me. This guy just wants to ride the wave of others. When I was the champion, he intimidated me. I said that we are going to fight in the light heavyweight division. He didn't want to run there now. He wants to fight in the light heavyweight division because he just wants to surf the wave. Pereira's comments are a direct challenge to Chimaev's actions, calling into question his true intentions. While Chimaev has expressed interest in facing Pereira, it seems he's only willing to do so on his own terms. Pereira suggests that Chimaev has been more interested in leveraging his name and the title opportunity rather than truly seeking a fight. With Pereira now holding the light heavyweight belt, the dynamics have shifted, and it appears Chimaev might not be as eager to take on the challenge after all. As rumors continue to swirl around the potential matchup between Alex Pereira and Khamzat Chimaev, UFC fans are weighing in on the possibility, with some expressing serious concerns about the fight. Peter Mavroganis, a well-known UFC boxing fan, shared his thoughts on YouTube, questioning whether Dana White would actually go through with the bout.
We're hearing the rumors. I have credible people telling me it's a possibility. Now I'm thinking to myself, will Dana White actually send Alex Pereira to the slaughterhouse here? How you gonna do my boy Alex like that, bro? This is first-degree murder. You're putting a fighter up against an assassin.
Mavroganis' comment highlights the fear many fans have about the fight, particularly considering Chimaev's dominant, aggressive fighting style. The comparison of Chimaev to an assassin reflects the danger he presents in the octagon, and Mavroganis' suggestion that sending Pereira into this fight would be first-degree murder shows the level of concern for the former middleweight champion. The potential matchup has sparked debate about whether Chimaev's relentless, pressure-heavy style could be too much for Pereira despite the latter's knockout power. Fans are split on whether this is a fair challenge or a fight that could end in a brutal fashion for Pereira. One fighter who could potentially crack the pound-for-pound top rankings is Khamzat Chimaev. There are rumors circulating that Chimaev might be the next to face Alex Pereira, which would be an insane matchup. Chimaev started as a technically skilled middleweight in the UFC, moved down to welterweight, then back up to middleweight, and now the possibility of him jumping up to light heavyweight is on the table. A title shot 2 weight classes above his usual division would be a wild turn of events for Chimaev's career. Robert Whitaker thinks that Khamzat would likely beat Pereira, despite Alex being much bigger, probably 15 to 20 pounds heavier. He believes Chimaev would still manage to take him down and submit him.
I saw a rumor Chimaev might go up and fight Pereira.
Pereira just said he's not going to fight Ankalaev next.
Imagine that.
Khamzat puts a bit of weight on. This would truly be Alex's proper wrestling test. Who wins?
Chimaev, easy.
However, Whitaker's concern is that if Chimaev is unable to finish Pereira early and the fight stays standing, he could run into serious problems. Chimaev could struggle to take him to the ground, and in that scenario, Pereira's striking would absolutely brutalize him. That said, making this fight might be a tough call. With Magomed Ankalaev currently being the #1 contender, it's hard to justify Chimaev getting a title shot ahead of him. If Pereira fights Chimaev instead of Ankalaev, he would face the same criticism as someone like John Jones if he bypassed a legitimate contender. If Pereira takes on Chimaev instead of Ankalaev, it would certainly raise questions about whether he's avoiding the top contender. Ideally, Pereira will fight Ankalaev next, and Chimaev can face the winner of Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Chael Sonnen recently reacted to Khamzat Chimaev's surprise move, calling out Alex Pereira in a way that surprised many, especially considering the expectations surrounding Chimaev's next fight. After his dominant victory over Kamaru Usman, Chimaev was widely believed to be the #1 contender for the middleweight title, with his next fight likely to be against Sean Strickland. However, Chimaev seems to be eyeing a different path, one that leads him to the former middleweight champion, Pereira, in a potential light heavyweight showdown. Sonnen responded to this shift in direction with his usual sharp wit and skepticism.
What just happened here? Chimaev just called out Pereira? Is that what just happened here? We were told in no uncertain terms that Chimaev, should he beat Kamaru Usman, will become the #1 contender and fight Sean Strickland.
Sonnen's confusion stems from the fact that Chimaev, after beating Usman, was supposed to be on track for a title fight with Strickland. Instead, Chimaev's sudden shift toward calling out Pereira for a potential light heavyweight fight raises questions. Sonnen continues to break down how this could impact Chimaev's trajectory.
You're the #1 contender and you're one fight away from having your dreams come true. You'd be wrong to believe that you have your choice of weight classes, but if that is what you believe, and you have now identified that you think Pereira is an easier fight than Strickland. Between Izzy and Pereira, the two guys that were at top of the division, as Chimaev is flirting with the idea, claiming that he can beat anybody, Izzy appears to be off the shelf for now, and Pereira appears to be out of the weight class. Therefore, Chimaev is going to chase it with that weight class. I love the story. I'm for it. I'm completely in. I wasn't told any of those things. Am I even right? Did that even happen?
Sonnen's comments reflect the confusion and skepticism surrounding Chimaev's recent move, which seems to stray from the expected path. By bypassing Strickland and targeting Pereira, Chimaev risks derailing his position as as the clear #1 contender for the middleweight title. While some fans may find this shift exciting, it also raises questions about Chimaev's long-term strategy in the UFC. If Chimaev believes Pereira is the easier fight, it could be seen as a calculated move to secure a title without facing the toughest challenge in Strickland. However, Sonnen's point about Chimaev flirting with the idea of beating anyone, regardless of weight class, highlights a potentially dangerous mindset. Taking on Pereira at light heavyweight, a division where Chimaev has yet to compete, would be a massive leap and not without risks. For Chimaev, the allure of Pereira's striking and recent struggles at 205 pounds might make it seem like a golden opportunity, but for many, this looks like a risky detour from what should be his inevitable fight with Strickland for the middleweight belt. Sonnen, always one to embrace the drama, says he's completely in for the story, but he also questions whether this path is a smart one for Chimaev's career. Ultimately, whether Chimaev's pursuit of Pereira will pay off or backfire remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the UFC's middleweight division is about to get a lot more unpredictable. Daniel Cormier recently weighed in on the potential matchup between Khamzat Chimaev and Alex Pereira, sharing his thoughts on why such a fight makes more sense than one between Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. Cormier, a two-time UFC champion, acknowledged that while a bout with Whittaker would be exciting, the matchup between Chimaev and Pereira seems more fitting for Chimaev's future. Cormier also touched on Pereira's status as the reigning champion and his remarkable success, including being named Male Fighter of the Year across multiple publications. As Cormier explained, the fight between Chimaev and Pereira has some serious appeal.
Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker in a co-main event underneath Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski doesn't make ultimate sense. Big wrestler, that's Robert Whittaker. Former champion, Robert Whittaker. Khamzat has set his sights on the new champ, Alex Pereira, who is the Male Fighter of the Year across all publications. Congratulations, champs. But
Cormier points out that while Whittaker's wrestling skills and former champion status would make for a competitive fight, the matchup between Chimaev and Pereira is one that aligns more closely with Chimaev's ambitions. Pereira, who has cemented his place as a dangerous kickboxer and one of the top fighters in the sport, presents a different challenge. As Cormier continues, he emphasizes the raw strength and potential of Chimaev, suggesting that if Chimaev continues to develop his skills, particularly his takedown defense, he could become a dominant force in the division.
Seems to be a great matchup for Khamzat Chimaev. I will say this though, it's unbelievable how strong this man is. If this guy learns and understands his takedown defense, he would be hell for anyone because he's such a tremendous kickboxer. So I see why Khamzat says, let me fight the champ, 6-1.
Cormier's praise of Chimaev's strength is a reminder of the athlete's incredible physical gifts, which could make him a nightmare for anyone once he refines his technique. As a powerful wrestler with remarkable grappling, Chimaev has the potential to dominate if he can find ways to neutralize fighters like Pereira, who excel in striking. Cormier's final remark, 6-1, refers to Chimaev's impressive record, underscoring the fact that despite his relatively short career, Chimaev's meteoric rise could lead him straight into a title fight with Pereira. This makes the potential fight between Chimaev and Pereira particularly enticing, not only for the stakes of the middleweight title, but for the contrast of styles. Chimaev's wrestling against Pereira's lethal striking. Cormier sees this as the ideal next step for Chimaev and a fight that would test him in all the right ways. Another MMA analyst has weighed in on the potential matchup between Khamzat Chimaev and Alex Pereira, comparing their physical attributes, striking, and grappling skills to predict how the fight might unfold. Both fighters are known for their striking prowess, but their approaches to fighting are quite different. While Pereira is a former kickboxing champion and a dangerous striker, Chimaev has shown himself to be a versatile threat, particularly with his grappling and wrestling skills. The analyst breaks down the key aspects of the fight to forecast who might come out on top.
Pereira's actually 2 inches taller at 6'4". He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. He lands about 5.5 significant strikes per minute. So does Khamzat, so they're pretty much equal there. In terms of the takedown game, Khamzat dominates with more than 1 takedown per round, Pereira none. So on the feet, it's basically even. On the ground, Khamzat dominates there, and
the analyst goes on to emphasize that while both fighters are comparable in terms of striking output, it's Chimaev's ground game that gives him a massive advantage. Pereira, who prefers to keep fights standing with his unorthodox kickboxing style, is at a disadvantage when it comes to grappling. The analyst notes that Pereira likes to slow his opponents down with his kicks, a strategy similar to Israel Adesanya's or Sean Strickland's, but without as much emphasis on closing the distance and mixing it up on the ground. Chimaev, on the other hand, isn't known for a flashy striking style. He's more likely to press the action with his wrestling and grappling, which could be disastrous for Pereira.
You know, Pereira likes to keep it in the stand-up, right? He wants to keep guys in the stand-up with that awkward kickboxing style, really messes opponents up, slow them down big time, much like we see Izzy do. Sean Strickland does it as well, except he gets more into, you know, all-out striking. You know, he doesn't slow his opponent down quite as much, but he still does. All three of those guys with similar styles slow their opponents down. So Khamzat's going to go right in there and just drop a Pereira, take him to the ground and finish him. I mean, that's just the way it's going to happen. And it's probably going to be quick.
With both men confident, their rivalry has only intensified. Chimaev saying he'll take Pereira down and finish him quickly, while Pereira dismisses Chimaev as nothing more than a dog's asshole. Will Chimaev's grappling game be enough to shut down Pereira's explosive striking, or will the Brazilian's fists and kicks break the hype machine? This fight has all the makings of an instant classic, and if it happens, don't blink, because it could end before you know it.